All right, everybody, welcome back to Chart Request Live. My name is Patrick Donawilla. I'm the editor of the Chart Report. Joined with me today is Sam Gatlin. He's going to be replacing Steve today. Steve is on some very important business right now. He's out to lunch with one of our friends, but he'll be back on Thursday. And Sam, I'm glad we get to mix it up with you. How you doing?
I'm good, Patrick. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, a lot of people don't know you, Sam. Why don't you tell people a little bit about you? Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Kansas. I'm in my last semester at Wichita State right now, and I'm taking finals this week. And I've been working with All Star Charts for about 8 months now.
And you're
It's been a
you're a
blast.
CFP candidate as well, right?
I am, yes. I need work experience before I can get my charter, but I'm
What
on the
level are
path.
you in?
I've completed all of them.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So you're
Yeah,
just waiting for the work experience.
right. Yeah. And then hopefully somebody will sponsor me.
It's literally just a matter of time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But so anyway, let's get to the charts. So a little bit of weakness here. I don't know if you want to call it a sell-off. I mean, we're not even down 1% yet, but we came into this kind of support area where we broke down a couple weeks ago. So not great that we're seeing kind of exhaustion of this little rebound, but we got a big week ahead of us. A lot of the important items haven't come out yet. You mentioned the Fed at 2 o'clock today, right?
That's right.
And
Eastern
then we
time.
also, right, and then we have Apple and Amazon tonight, I think, and then Apple Thursday, right?
Yes, some big earnings reports coming up this week.
Yeah, so definitely a lot for the market to digest this week. So it's one of those weeks, Sam, where you just kind of got to wait for the close, and there's going to be a lot of noise in the meantime. But that's really where we close this week is the most important thing. So you want to get into the
Absolutely.
mailbag?
Let's do it. Let's start with Davis. His request is Disney. He says they have earnings coming out tomorrow. He's looking to hold the stock for a decade.
Ooh, all right. So that's a long-term play here. Um, you know, I know Disney's a blue chip name and has a nice dividend, but this is not the nicest pattern here. I think Disney will probably give you a chance to buy it at a lower price in the next couple years. You got this topping pattern or what looks like it could be a topping pattern kind of forming here. Hasn't quite formed that right shoulder yet, but it looks like it's kind of losing momentum over time. We can, oops, going to throw a relative strength or relative RSI on there, but it's just kind of rolling over there. You definitely don't want to see it break 80, or maybe you do if you're looking to get into this thing longer term. But I mean, I would rather buy this thing down here at 40, and I do think you will get a chance to buy that sometime in the next couple of years. But if you're looking for this thing for a long-term hold, that's a kind of position that you want to get into on weakness, and buying those when you have a sell-off in the broader market. So yeah, I would much rather be buying this at way lower prices, and I think you'll get a chance to do that. But right now, there's a lot better stuff to be looking at.
For sure. And benchmarked to the S&P, this thing's already rolled over and it's making multi-decade lows.
Yeah, yeah, that's another great point.
Yeah. So next we have one from Dan.
In
This is
fact, we can
SMT,
let me just
SMTC.
this is what Sam's talking about. This is Disney relative to the S&P, but you can see for
Yes.
the last decade, since 2015, It's just steadily been underperforming the S&P. So there's just a lot better opportunities out there. I know it's a very established blue chip name, but keep digging.
for sure. The next one was SMTC, and that is coming
S&P.
from Dan. Said there's a volume pocket, looks like it wants it.
Yeah, this is a very nice one here. I mean, you could draw this a few different ways. Sam, I know you're seeing it, right?
Yeah, I am. And I'd like to add that this one is showing up on our freshly squeezed lists, and it has
Oh, okay, so
16.5% short interest with
that's
5 days to cover. So
that's
you
pretty
could really
juicy.
see a quick move through this volume gap.
Sam, you really like your short squeezes, don't you?
I love them. Yeah. You get some really explosive moves from them.
You like that Oscar trade a few months ago? Yeah.
That was an amazing trade. Yeah.
So you said 16% short interest, right?
Yeah. 16 and a half.
I mean, here we
Five
are.
days to cover.
Yeah, I mean, at its highest in like what, a year and a half, and you still have very high short interest. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Maybe it was at 30% and it's down from there, but how many days to cover?
Five.
Wow. So the breakout's already on this week. If we drop it into a daily, looks like it broke out yesterday. Getting some nice follow through and holding up nicely relative to the rest of the market too. So that's definitely deserves some credit there. I would be looking for 50. You could even jump that a little bit, sell it at like 48. Looks like there's a gap around there. Sorry. Yeah, 46, I guess, is where that gap is. But really nice base. Looks like it's exploding out of it this week. And you're looking to this. Let me draw it in. That's right around there as your target. And I bet if we fib this out, I bet it probably aligns. I'm not sure, but oh my
Yeah.
God.
You've looked at enough charts, Patrick. You can see the lines.
Have you gotten to that point yet where you can kind of see it?
I have, sadly. I can see the
Oh no,
anchored
that's
VWAPs too.
that's a good thing. Okay, so it doesn't quite align. So maybe I need to look at a few more charts. But uh, the point is, if it's above 35, it looks good to 50 or 46 if you want to be a little bit more conservative on it. But this one looks great. Yeah, and I love that short interest part of it as well. That's kind of like the cherry on top, right?
For sure. Little kicker.
And it's also just like, this is kind of like a Wyckoff bottom where it's kind of slowly reversing. You're getting the first steps of an important trend reversal. So I like this one a lot. What do they do again? I know I've seen this one. Semis. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So next we have one from Hanson. It's a Crane Company, ticker CR.
I think this is an industrial
Yeah. Machinery.
aerospace and defense is what I'm saying. You see that it said machinery in yours?
Yeah.
You're looking at Koyfin?
Finviz. Looks like they make parts for.
Yeah, I mean this one's been an incredible trend. Looks like it went public pretty much last year. I mean, to the date, pretty much. Uh, Tough. I think you want to wait for a pullback on this one. Let me throw RSI on there. Yeah, okay, so you might get the pullback too. Momentum steadily waning for the past 6 months, but finally you're not getting oversold, or overbought. So pointing to some weakness, momentum's kind of rolling over, losing steam. I would look to get involved around this 130 or 128 level here. Not only was that kind of a low recently, there's also the highs over here earlier in the year, kind of important polarity level right there. So I'd be looking to buy this thing on a pullback to 130. If it doesn't hold there, then you're looking to 110, right around here. So, but looks like it's a really strong trend. Not sure what the fundamentals is, the fundamental reasoning is here, but yeah, until it bends, no reason to bet against it really.
Right. Yeah. Industrial stocks have been some of the best also,
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
a lot of these obscure names, you never heard of them before, or they do some really niche thing. They make some type of concrete or some weird thing. But anyway, what do we got next?
We've got one from Wavy.
Oh,
He wants
nice.
to look at ticker MAIN. This is
Yeah.
Main Street Capital.
Yeah. So
They
this one,
lend to small businesses, things like that.
yeah. Yeah, this one showed up in the heat check last week. So this one has been gaining attention recently. A really nice one, Wavy. I like this one. Like where your head's at. You
Monster
got the
base.
breakout. Right. Yeah, you got the breakout last week, broke those pre-COVID highs. Okay, yeah, those are the all-time highs. I wasn't sure. But with this one, you could base it out in a couple different ways. You could for targets. So that's around 64 if you use the COVID decline. And if you're using the bear market, this base here, that's around 56. So depending on how aggressive you want to be, either 56 as your price target or 64. I maybe take half off at 56 and then leave the rest on to run. But this one, yeah, the breakout's on. It's a little extended at this point, so if you're not already in it, I'd probably wait for a pullback to 45. But yeah, looks like the train's left the station.
For
And
sure.
RSI is
Alfonso's been
confirming.
cooking up a nice financial post that should
Oh,
be coming
nice.
out sometime this week. I think
Yeah,
this one was included. There's a lot of really good asset managers, companies like that. Look great. Big
yeah.
banks, Wells Fargo, Goldman
The strength
Sachs.
is really broad to your point. Like it's not just the bank. I mean, finally the banks are working, but it's broker dealers, everything in there.
Right.
Um, but with this
We
one,
were talking about
also have
earlier
RSI
this week.
confirming. Sorry, go
Earlier
ahead.
this week, we were talking about Bitcoin miners. They're listed in the asset manager,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
capital markets.
Yeah. I mean, I guess where else are you going to stick them, right?
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting,
That is funny. But Wavy, this one's awesome. A plus.
for sure.
What do
So
you got?
let's move to the chat now. We've got one. We've got ticker VNOM.
VNOM. Viper Energy. That's an
Yes.
appropriate ticker for that.
Yeah, it is. This is a $3 billion oil and gas midstream company.
Okay. So that's right under there. I don't love that it wasn't able to break out. If it wasn't able to break out on this recent move in energy, if oil corrects here, it probably won't break out for a minute. So definitely wait for that confirmation with this one. But yeah, I like it. I mean, it's knocking on the doors there, and it's consolidated for long enough. So you could get the breakout, but you'll probably need crude oil to come along for the ride. You did get RSI confirming the breakout over here. That's or not the breakout, but confirming the strength, confirming kind of the new highs that it made. But here we are getting rejected a little bit. You could maybe get involved on a pullback to 34 here. But I'd keep a tight stop on that. You don't want to see it get too much in this range here that it's been in since 2022.
And I like to see that it's already broken above those 2022 highs. Some of the best energy stocks you'll see. Those highs
Yeah,
are very important to take out.
that is true. That's
If
a
you get
good.
a pullback to there, that would be an ideal entry, my
Yeah,
opinion.
and this is kind of like the broader energy sector, right? I mean, it made it all it busted out of that 2-year resistance level, but then it kind of wasn't able to clear this 2014 high yet. So very similar to the broader sector. Although this was the 2018 highs for BNOM. But if it does break out, let's assume it does break out, and let's just fib it out. If you get the breakout, then you're looking at 68 as your target. So above 44 gets you to 68. That's not a bad trade at all, but definitely wait for that confirmation.
For sure. And I'm not seeing anything else in the chat here.
We got nothing?
Nothing else. Let's take a
Slow
look
day.
at ARMN. This is what Tommy Humphreys was talking about as his favorite stock in his interview with JC.
This is ARMN. So is it a gold miner or?
It is a gold miner, yes, a Canadian
Okay.
gold miner. Now I was looking at it like if you zoom all the way out and drop a WAP from that IPO all-time high,
Whoa.
it comes in right around here.
Quite a nasty go of it over the years.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. There you go. Clearing it. I mean, I think the important thing here is it broke those January or the last year's high right here. That was kind of clearly resistance. I'd want confirmation. I want to see it break 5 before I'd get involved, but it's definitely basing here. It's definitely climbing up the right shoulder of the base here. Here's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I wanted to kind of clear this shelf at least first. But once it breaks the 2021 peak, then it could really run.
yeah,
It
it's off to the
does have
races
some
then.
sloppy overhead supply that it's coming into, but it's basing.
Yes.
Any,
We've
any
gotten some more in the chat here.
what else we got?
Jason Payne wants to look at SG, Sweet Green. Just
SG.
I think it's a fast food salad restaurant.
Yeah. When I lived in New York, there used to be Sweet Green had just come out, and there used to be a line down the street for this thing. So I'm not sure if that's still the case, but this definitely was a favorite for a while. People liked it. Doesn't mean the stock is a buy, but apparently people like their salads.
Yeah. And restaurants have been working in general, like Wingstop
Yeah,
making all-time
Wingstop's
highs.
that's been a head scratcher. That's been an
Yeah.
incredible one.
Texas Roadhouse is on the all-time highs list.
Yep. So kind of struggling to break this 25 level. If you get that confirmation, you're looking at 37. This is really constructive action here. You could even draw it as a head and shoulders if you want. And I think it will get over 25 soon, but you kind of want a decisive breakout. You haven't gotten that yet. So I'd be looking for that. But whoever brought this one, definitely shaping up really nicely. I would keep it on your watch list. Wait for that confirmation because that's a nice move. That's 50% move right there. So and then beyond that, if you get the 61.8% retracement, then you're looking at 56. That's those IPO highs there. So, but this one's shaping up really nicely.
Yeah, I like this one. Next one comes from James. He wants to look at Digital Realty Trust, ticker DLR.
All right.
This is a $44 billion
Data
REIT.
center REIT?
I believe so, yeah.
So here we are, almost made it back, but getting some rejection here at these April 2022 highs. You're going to want to see it clear that first. That's around 155. If you get that, then you're looking at all-time highs around 180 or just south of 180. But in terms of REITs, this one looks pretty strong. We can look at it versus XLRE, the real estate ETF. Okay, so not lately, not lately at all, but primary uptrend here, just kind of stalled ever since looks like kind of post COVID, just kind of been stalling here. Oh, I'm sorry, SLR. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry about that. DLR. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. Yeah, relatives trend is kind of sloppy too. But I'd wait for that confirmation above 155, gets you to 180-ish. What else we got?
We've got Ravi Gupta asking about weed stocks. If you
Okay.
just pull up something like MJ,
Yeah.
up 15% today.
This thing has been slowly basing for about over a year now. It's I think it's working on something, Sam. I think it's working on some sort of bottom.
For
And
sure.
wheat stocks have become such a joke. I mean, they've gotten nothing but down since, there was so much hype around them, so much hype. And they've just done nothing but lose investors' money.
For sure.
But that's where that's the type of sentiment that's ripe for a bottom. So
And it
this
sounds
thing,
funny, but it has to stop going down before it can go up.
no, you're absolutely right. And it has.
Looks like it's done that.
Right. And now you've had a couple of these spurts where it really looked like the breakout was on and then it gets smacked down again and made a new low. But recently, those spurts have actually been making higher lows. So you're getting this basing action over the past year and a half. You got the long-term trend line break. Um, got that a while ago. So with this one, if it does hold this 450, or if it breaks 450, dare I say it could run all the way to 850 here. But I would definitely take some off here at around $6, 625.
For sure. There's a lot
What
of
do you
bag
think?
holders waiting to dump on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, real quick, we'll look at MSOS too. I mean, they look very similar, but very similar look here. I think one of them has more Canadian companies in it. The other one is more US focused. Okay, this one's the US focused one. It's the pure US cannabis ETF. So MSOS is the US one. MJ is the one I think that has more Canadian in it. Anyway,
And Ravi's in the chat here saying there's some big news happening in the wheat stock industry. He says the government is looking to reschedule it off of a Schedule One, and
yeah, I mean, I feel like that's been the case
yeah,
for so long, and it just you haven't gotten that official news yet, but I haven't been following it too much lately.
same.
What else we got?
Curtis wants to look at Joe and Dash.
Joe,
You pick JOE or DoorDash.
Ooh, St. Joe's Company. This one's definitely interesting here.
That's a monster base.
Sure is. Huh. I think you want confirmation above 65, and then you're looking at the all-time highs here around 85, but definitely shaping up. And this is a really long-term one. I mean, that 85, that's the 2005 highs. So we're talking 20 years almost. But if you're looking more short-term, yeah, see, I think you really want to see it resolve out of this consolidation pattern. It's just been very tightly wound. It's brewing up for a big move. Haven't gotten it yet, but definitely brewing something.
Keep this on your watch list.
For
Set your
sure.
alerts.
What was the other one? Dash?
Yeah, DoorDash. And this is a lot bigger than you'd think, Patrick. Like, what do you
DoorDash?
think DoorDash's market cap is?
That's a good question. Maybe 15 billion?
That's what I would say too. No, it's 53 billion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That is
And then
pretty
you've
big.
got Uber coming in at 140 billion.
What is Lyft?
Lyft is 6 billion.
Okay. I've said it so many times. I think DoorDash and Lyft need to merge to compete with Uber. That'd be interesting, but
That would be. I
I'm
could see
no
that happening.
M&A expert at all. No fundamental expert either. But I know a thing or two about charts. And it's nice that it's holding this 125 level. I think here, we'll fit it out first. I do think you'll ultimately return to all-time highs. It could be a slow backing and filling process. Okay, so this aligns perfectly with the 38.2. As long as it's above this 123, 124 level, you're looking at 174, 175 as your next target. That's a really nice move there. So whoever brought this one, this is a great trade, and you're right at the entry price right now. So it's pretty actionable today as it is. You just don't want to see it get below 123. But what do you think, Sam?
No, I agree with you. It's a nice setup. You got easy out there at 123.
Is this one shorted?
No, not really.
Not really.
No, you got 4% short interest.
What about you? You got any favorite tickers that you want to see right now?
Well, I like the Clean Spark. This has been my way to play Bitcoin. It's treated me well. It's just gone sideways here for a while, but this is the clear leader in the Bitcoin mining space. So
Yeah, it's the past couple months have been very choppy. More so for the miners than even Bitcoin itself. And let's look at Bitcoin because it's really at an important level here. This is on a closing basis here. You can see we're right at those former April 2021 highs right here. Like I said, we got a big week left. You definitely don't want to see it get below there. That would be very ugly, not just for Bitcoin and people who are long crypto, but also the broader market. I think Bitcoin's been a great leading indicator for risk appetite and where tech stocks and the broader market's headed. And if that pulls a failed breakout here, got to imagine the broader market's probably under pressure too.
for sure, I've seen some charts circulating around Twitter about potentially coming down and forming a right shoulder. Mid 40s. This chart could turn into an inverted head and shoulders.
Inverted head and shoulders. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the head. This is the left shoulder. And then you're saying
We could come down and form that right shoulder.
I don't know. You'll have to draw it out for me after this, but yeah, not a great look here. You definitely want to see it rebound soon. Down 5.5% today.
Not a great look.
Here, let's look at Amazon because we got that into the close here. I love this. I've been calling this an abandoned baby. I'm not sure. Technically, I think the abandoned baby is a doji candle, but the psychology is the same. And you had this gap lower. Anybody who got short on this day, this was Meta earnings that drove that move. Anybody who got short that day, they're trapped under there because you got the gap higher on Google's earnings the next day. So that is a very bullish short-term pattern. You're not getting great follow. I mean, you got follow through yesterday, and I think today's move is totally fine. I mean, that's normal pullback, but this should be a bullish pattern. If it's not, that's a big red flag. But earnings are their own animal, you know, who knows what it'll bring. So it should be interesting.
Right. We've seen like stocks like Coupang,
Was that CPNV, right?
CPNG. I mean, that one's resolved higher. Seems like the internet retail is kind of catching a bid.
Yeah. Well, do we have any more in the chat there?
We do, yes. EXP from H Chan, Eagle Materials, almost $9 billion building materials company.
All right. So, I mean, I see a little head and shoulders there to the right, but first, it met its target. I mean, it's more or less came up a little short of this, but if you drew the fibs, you know, on closing prices, it's pretty much there. It's at a point where you'd expect some sort of consolidation. Yeah, look at that. On a closing basis, it hit it to the T. And you're getting this kind of rolling over action here. Let's put it back in candles, but yeah, you know, it's happening at a logical level too. And you're getting that right shoulder forming today with today's move. So with this one, I think you'd even draw the neckline right here at 250 around here. If it breaks 250, you're looking at down to 208. It could probably get you this bearish pattern. So I wouldn't be buying it here. I would wait. If you really want to get long this one, I would get long around on a pullback or potential pullback to 208. So it's hard to like this one on the long side here, but it's been a great one. It's been a great trend. I mean, what else could you ask for?
For sure. Building materials have been some of the best stocks.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant earlier when I was talking about those unsexy names. Nobody's heard of them. You know, they make some weird type of concrete or some building insulation or foam or something. But those have been some fantastic trades.
Yeah, they have. For sure.
What
You
else?
ready for your next one?
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up soon, but what else we got?
We've got a closed-end fund here. Jason Payne wants to look at TY, Tricontinental.
Again, kind of hard to get excited about this one on the long side. I feel like I'm such a Debbie Downer today. I don't have too many names I'm too excited about, but that's just what it is.
Market environment.
Yeah, a lot of these breakouts are failing to hold the last couple months. So you got to err on the side of the caution. If this thing is below 29, it hasn't quite broken down yet. Again, you could kind of draw this as a head and shoulders if you want. I don't think we need to do that. Point is it tried to break out here, rolled over, couldn't make a new high. And if you get a new low here, it's probably going to fall, you know, a lot more than that. If it reclaims that, that's great. But until then, there's really nothing to do with it, and as long as it's below 30.
For sure. This kind of looks like the Russell 2000.
Oh yeah, that's a great point. Great point. Yeah, I mean the charts look very, very similar. If we same thing. Broke out, just could not hold it. Russell has broken out a few times. I feel like it's almost like gold, where every time it breaks out, or well, gold prior to this year, but where it had so many chances to break out and it's just fumbling every single one of them. So here we are back below the upper end of the range. Got to err on the side of caution. Doesn't mean that we're going to make a new bear market low, something like that, but you know, frustrating, choppy sideways action, that's no fun. So.
For sure. We've got Che. He's wanting to know how you would fib out Kava.
Oh, cool.
CAVA.
Yeah. So this one.
You draw the fib from previous all-time high around 60 or the one at 71.60?
I would do both. So I mean, first of all, it depends on your time frame. If you're looking for a more short-term trade, I would use that smaller one that we'll get to in just a second. But so, man, this is a really nice chart. I like it. So you got the retest, successful retest, and it's just exploded off that in the past week. This is a daily chart here, so I would fib out both. So you have this, that's telling you 76. $79. But with Fibonacci targets, you can kind of play with them a little. You don't want to cherry pick, but you want to kind of find the level where there's a lot of them kind of aligning, or at least this is kind of what I do. Finding kind of,
it's more of an art.
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, so 76, I would say. If you're looking on a closing basis, that's what it is. Let's get rid of this.
And Che's mentioning that Kava is a shorted name. It looks like it has 13% of the float short.
Oh, really?
For 5 days to cover.
Yeah, I mean, 13's not too high, but it's good enough. So you are coming into that resistance level. I'm not sure that this breakout here will actually materialize. Well, it looks like it's failing already. So, I may have spoke a little too soon. But if you do get this retest, maybe it'll give you a chance to get in. Kind of might have to base here above this form resistance level. But yeah, don't love that it's struggling here. Again, we kind of got to see how the day ends and how the week ends. But you do have some resistance that you're coming into. After a 4-day rally like that too, it would make sense for some short-term rest here. I mean, it's up 20% in just the last 4 days. So.
Right. And what happens if you drop a WAP from that pivot high? That could be a good level.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great point. Get involved there. You could even drop it down even further if you want to a 65-minute. Maybe getting involved right here at this these April highs right here. 66. But the bigger trend here, the bigger, kind of IPO base breakout, that's very encouraging. It's just short term, it might get a little messy.
For sure.
Should we leave it there?
Mm.
We got any more?
Let's look at AMD. People want AMD, Patrick.
Yeah, so this one reports tonight, right?
I believe so.
Ooh, big moment. It's come off its highs a pretty significant amount, but it also hit its target. So what I mean by that is broke out of this huge base last year, the end of last year. All right. Oops, sorry. There it is. Here we are, we kind of dip below it. I think there's a chance this could be a whipsaw right here, and you do kind of resolve here. And that
scoop and score.
Right, because you do have this topping pattern here. So bulls really need to invalidate that. They really need to reclaim this level right here around 165. If they can do that, that's very bullish. Failed tops, love those patterns. But this one reached its target already. I mean, right here, if you fib it out, came just very close to it. If you use it on a closing basis, it did hit it. But I think this one will recover. Again, you want to see it reclaim that 165. But who knows with earnings? I never like to bet on earnings themselves. You never know what the reaction will be. I'd rather react to what the reaction is. If that makes sense.
That does. Yeah. I'm the same way. Such a binary event.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that like to use option strategies around earnings, but that's not for me.
if this evening, if you do see it above 165, that would be very, very bullish. And also very bullish for semis too, because AMD and SMCI are kind of setting the tone for semis, and semis are just such an important group right now. I mean, they always are, but with the whole narrative around AI wrapped in it right now, I think they're more important than they've ever been.
Absolutely. I agree. And let's finish up with TMDX, Patrick. Only Dads wants to see it. And Raul also says TMDX looks good.
Yeah,
this
this
is
one looks
Transmedics. This one has shown up on my short interest scans. It has 20% short interest, which is good for 8
Really?
days to cover.
Get out of here.
I believe this
20%
is the
short interest?
company. Yeah, man.
Why?
Yeah. It's a great question, Patrick. I think this company does some medical devices for like organ transplants.
See, wow.
I thought that was cool.
You're at all-time highs and 20% short interest?
Yeah.
My gosh. You know, not knowing anything about the fundamentals here, this looks very interesting. 20% is a lot. I consider anything over like 16, 17 a decent amount for short interest. So 20%, that's pretty juicy. And you're at all-time highs. Imagine being short this thing. Probably not feeling too good.
No.
Wow, yeah, so around 148. If it's above, call it 100. 99.63 is as exact. Well, yeah. If it gets above 100, that should be good to 138 there. That's a really nice move. But I think that short interest, that's a really interesting component of this trade to get you even higher. What do they do?
They do some organ transplant.
Oh, did
devices.
I see earnings today? Oh man, earnings. They already reported. Oh wow, this is very interesting. Definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on today, after the report, and tomorrow as well.
For sure, I'm keeping an eye on this one.
Yeah, and you said it showed up on your short scans?
It did, yeah. Let's finish with Sprouts. This is one of my favorites.
Oh, Sprouts.
Freshly squeezed name. It's still got 14% short interest and 10 days to cover.
Yeah, and we put this one on in the buzz a few months ago. You remember that? And that was when short interest was really high. I remember talking to you about it, being like, hey, can you double check short interest here? I mean, it's at all-time highs. Very similar scenarios. At all-time highs, short interest was something like 20% or something like that. And sure enough, Bears look like they're not having fun. Stock's
not
pretty
at
much
all.
at an all-time high.
Just went straight up once it broke out of that base.
Yeah, you probably are. Yeah, okay. You're reaching that target. You're not there yet. Target's around 72. I'd expect some consolidation like that. This has been a really nice, strong and fast move. So probably will consolidate around there before it goes any higher than that. But this thing looks like it's ultimately on its way to 100 in the next few years.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen one of these in the wild?
Yeah, actually, I order from there from time to time. It's not my go-to, but I definitely do. It's a hugely popular chain around here. So, do they have them where you are?
I've never seen one. No.
Maybe it's a California thing.
Perhaps.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Join us again on Thursday. Steve will be back. Sam, thank you so much for stepping in, filling Steve here.
This was fun, Patrick.
Yeah, you'll have to come back. I'm sure you will. We're always, in and out, so you'll be back. Thank you guys so much. If we didn't get to anything, if you want us to check anything else out, just email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com and we'll get to them on Thursday. Thanks.
See you guys.